Wake Up with Jim and Sab is exclusively on Spotify.
And if you want to start your own podcast, you can check out anchor.fm.
Hello, welcome back to Finding Happy. So as you know that we are now putting this on the Wake Up with Jim and Sab feed. Right now, I have my students who are from jimandsab.com. What I'll do today is I'm gonna do a malibag and pretty much answer and see if people have anything to contribute. I'll end the episode by an open session. So here's the malibag. Hi Jim, I'm currently at the office taking a break from my OT as I'm typing this email. I don't know if you remember, but I was the one who posted a blog in the Wake Up with Jim and Sab Facebook page about what COVID-19 did to me and my family. Yeah, we saw this post. It was very heartbreaking. This pod sib of yours, she lost her father due to COVID. Anyway, she says, I'm not okay. I miss my father so much and I'm experiencing anxiety like never before because of work and responsibilities. The podcast has helped me a lot, but there are times when my mind would still be so cluttered and so full of worry and anxiety. I am considering to get some help from a professional and do therapy, but I'm afraid that this would taint my record as an employee. Do you think it's safe to inform my employer about what I'm going through? Should I inform them in the first place? I really don't want to resign because I can't afford to. Plus, I love working for my current company, but I feel like what I'm going through is taking a toll on my performance and productivity. I'm sorry if this letter may not be making sense. Thank you because it's giving me some comfort now just by typing this. Even if this one does not get chosen, it helped me already. Anyway, you know, I just want to say first that, what you're going through, that's something, when we lost our child, it's pretty much what I said was it's losing someone you love is an experience that goes beyond our human capacity. So parang one, if you've never experienced grief or loss of a loved one close to you, it it will always be it will it's something that you will never fully understand because I still have some people in my life na hindi talaga nila gets. Alam mo yun? They don't understand um the path of grieving. They have no idea and therefore they don't know how to empathize with you. With that said, okay, this is what I want to share with you. Okay, number 1, this is normal. We're way past the mental health stigma. The stigma na bawal ka magka mental health issues. Parang it's understood. We're living in a time that fortunately people have made and developed better awareness about, mental health issues and how this is the equivalent of having a, a sickness. Kumbaga, if you're sick, you can't go to work. If you're sick, you can't function. And that's what mental health illness is. So, but the problem is, not everyone is up to date. I just want to share a story with you na the other day we were having lunch nga. Not the other day. Parang, we were talking to some friends over Zoom. And obviously they really don't get the concept of people dealing with mental health issues. The people I was hanging out with were also entrepreneurs. So they were employers. So they were looking at, they were talking about their employees and they were casually saying na, well, mental health daw, kaya mag-quit. Ganyan. One, that's a boomer thing talaga. It's really a problem that this younger generation has to deal with. But again, I just want to share with you that it's so much different now. At least now it's slowly becoming more progressive. Of course, ang Pilipinas, just like everything else, we're way behind. But everywhere else, especially in first world countries, it's a very developed support system. For example, someone close to me, she works abroad and she was dealing with something. What the company did was they hired a professional coach, to help her deal with her issues, which was paid by the company. So anyway, habang hindi, yun yung problem. Sa Pilipinas, hindi tayo ganun, pero at least papunta tayo doon. You know, when I was still working in my when I was still in my corporate life, walang ganon. I'm sure like the stigma and your fear of how your employers would respond, that's based on something, and that's really, it's true. I mean, nung time na yun, for example, I'm gonna share later nga yung stories ko, pero I remember before, like during my time, parang imposible na meron kang ginagawa outside of work. Ganun yung culture of the work that, or the company that I was part of. And during that time, imposible. So like me having a band was stupid. Me having time for Saab, my girlfriend at that time, was stupid. Um Hindi siya ngayon, I would say. I would say that it's much better now because of companies experiencing, such fast turnover and people quitting. So now they're really focusing on this. Kasi nung time namin na yun, in one of the latter companies na, nasa 2014 na to, they were starting na. They were having like these HR initiatives na alam mong ek-ek lang. Para masabi lang na, para masabi na meron silang ginagawa. Okay? But anyway, yun. But I just want you to know that actually there are studies that, 60% of people whose work stress has affected their performance say they're afraid to speak to their boss about it because they're afraid of being laughed at, being labeled as weak, negatively impacting opportunities for a promotion. Lalo na dito sa Pilipinas, 'di ba? Parang if sasabihin mo na, "Sir, nagkaka-anxiety ako." Sabihin nila, "Ay, you're afraid. You're afraid that your boss will think, "Oh my god, this person, won't have the capability to be promoted or to become a leader with bigger responsibilities, or ang arte naman ito." Um the problem going into their file. And that's what the Malibag sender is experiencing right now. Yan yung obviously, yan yung natatakot niya eh. Natatakot siya na, that's why most of you siguro were surprised to hear that she's concerned that, sabi niya, "I'm afraid that this would taint my record as an employee." So yun. One, this is normal. Mental health issues are real. It's really a sickness, and the thing is, yun nga, while it's real to us, and kaya nga totoong totoo yung mga social, ano yun, yung echo chambers that they say, is because syempre these boomers, it's not like they're watching the same stuff that we're watching or following the same people that we're following. Probably these boomers are following Steven Seagal, diba? Or following Harry Roque or whatever. So therefore, if ganun lang naman yung source of information nila, hindi talaga sila gagaling. Okay? Hindi sila matututo. While it's normal for us, that we know that na this is the world that we should be living in. That's not the world that some companies are living in. They don't understand that. So therefore, my second piece of advice is choose your circles. What does that mean? I think when you go through something like this, Um, when you lose a loved one and you go through depression, anxiety, fear, crippling fear, your world becomes smaller naturally. When this happened to me and Sab, I remember we didn't look at our phones for like uh, a month and a half. We didn't look at our phones. We didn't accept visitors. We chose to really close off. And while that can be wrong, it was more of we we decided na let's create the circles that can help us in our healing. So when we chose those circles, that's what we invested in. Invested, and that's what we worked on in keeping. Kasi parang kumbaga, imagine going through depression and going through grief, and you have all these responsibilities to to be social, to to act like a normal human being. But and those things can become distractions. Those things can make you go off course. What I suggest is find your inner circle, find those circles that you think can help your healing. And when I say circle, a group of people that can, help and support you, and you can be comfortable with. You can be comfortable in um, being vulnerable with. And that's why I say invest and work. Kasi when you go through something like this, being sociable is one of the hardest things to do, because nothing that someone else says, parang you always have it in your mind na you don't know what I'm going through. You will go through that. You'll experience like, I don't want to bother them anymore. Or it could also be the other way around, na parang you could end up being like, why is this person talking about Meralco bills? I just lost a loved one. And that's why I'm saying na it really is hard, kasi parang if you go to one extreme, that means you will lose friends, you lose people that matter to you. But at the same time, it's at this point you can actually make those social circles smaller, and you can filter who your real friends and family are, and work on it. Parang kumbaga, if you know na okay, kasi there was a time when we were in the hospital, I was literally, parang any opportunity I could get to lash out on someone else, parang I would. Pero for some reason, I didn't do it sa doctors, I didn't do it sa nurses. Parang, um, when we were going through what we went through, parang, sinabi ko, sige, I'm gonna do everything I can and be ultra patient with doctors and nurses. Kasi alam naman natin na, sometimes talaga may poor EQ that goes on, especially when, let's say, they forget about. I know how doctors are so immune na, or not immune, pero parang everything is so routinary na that they can forget that they're talking to a human being, and they have to be delicate in how to say stuff. Anyway, ang ginawa ko, I was lashing out on my family. But, at the end of each day, they would still be there. They would hold me, they would hug me, and I'd realize na, oh man, these people are the ones for me. So, I'm really gonna work on it. Alam ko na ito yung inner circle ko. So therefore, I'm really gonna invest my time, energy, positive energy in making sure that this relationship continues to work. That I'll be the best version of myself in this circle. Because seriously, when you go through something like this, or when you're going through depression, it's really hard to be the best version of yourself all the time. So just choose those small moments with those small circles where you can be the best version of yourself. Next, with that said, my question is, does your company love you back? Does your company fit the criteria of that small circle? That's what, kasi you said parang you love your company, but I feel like what I'm going through is taking a toll on my performance and productivity. You're afraid that it'll have a taint on your record. Um, that's why this is the time to find out. I know that you're working. I know that you say that you enjoy the work, but you're going through something right now. Um, Here's my take. Let Parang kumbaga, if you love the company, trust that they will love you back. And if they don't, then at least you can filter, and you can say, and you can have a better understanding of your situation, and you can have a better assessment of, okay, this company isn't meant for me. This isn't meant for me in the long term. Because right now you're going through depression. What if you go through something worse, diba? What if um is this the kind of company that you want to invest your life and your time, your energy, and your passion into? And then next is work helping or adding to the depression? Um Ito yung kwento ko when we actually talked about this, yung my ex cheated on me, and I was a fresh grad out of college. And the thing is, the reason why I took that breakup so badly was because work sucked so much. As in, I think lahat ng content ng podcast namin ng mga douchebag titos, that company was the president of the universe of douchebag titos. As in, lahat ng tao doon, yun yung kultura. So anyway, imagine, I was going through na nga a breakup. Wala man lang akong release of going to work and talking to people who share the same values as me. Like, or, parang, so that's why I asked that, because for me, obviously, what happened was work was not helping my depression. It was actually worsening it, because um I just didn't like work in the first place. So I think you have to ask yourself that parang, does going to the office, does this work situation really make me happy? If yes, and I'm just really depressed right now and I can't be as productive as I was before, then at least you know how to handle it. Magkaiba kasi yun na parang I hate my job, hindi na ako productive. As opposed to I love my job pero hindi lang talaga ako functional ngayon. Therefore, yung next step mo would be clearer. Your next step would be go to HR, talk to your boss, say what you're feeling, say what you're going through. And then again, back to what I said kanina, trust na if this is your circle, then it's meant for you. Diba? Then they will love you back. Then they can deserve the best version of yourself during this time. Um yeah, so yun, I think nung time na yun kasi what I would do was I'd go to work. I would hate seeing my boss. I would hate doing anything. I felt like my work was meaningless. But all of these things were happening before I got into depression. So that's the thing. Kaya it's hard rin It's hard because sometimes you can be, you can enjoy your job, you can be fine, and then there's a trigger or something happens in your life, you become depressed, and it's so easy to associate um work with what you're going through. Diba? Let's say you're depressed and then you have a problem or conflict at work. You can easily say, oh man, work is the reason for this depression or why I'm so sad. That's not always the case. You have to assess talaga, like, was I happy before this happened? Did I like my boss before this happened? But also, you can also use this as a way to assess better. You can see if, okay, I was, this is how my company is handling this version of me. I don't like it. Or this is how the company is handling the worst version of me. Great. They're amazing. So actually as an employer, ako, um I always give it to the person. Parang I always give the person room to be a human being. That's how I always viewed it. Kasi when Ali and I started Linya Linya, sabi namin, let's do everything that we wanted our old bosses to do. Let's do let's never do something that we hated that was done to us. So that's always been our parang guiding principle na if we as employees didn't like something, then we should definitely not do that to our employees. Yon. Okay. So here, um, I hope these questions helped. Parang or these itong guide na to. Pero here's what I want to share with you. Number one, set small and manageable goals. Alam ko itong finding happy. Itong finding happy ay puro lagi na lang goals. Pero it's true. Because right now, here's the thing. When you're depressed, you are in the pit. We've talked about that in previous podcasts. You pretty much can't see what else is outside. Okay? So what I always say or what I always push is to find small victories in each day. And going through and surviving depression or um you know heartbreak, you need to build yourself up piece by piece. Hindi talaga siya mangyayari tomorrow. And I know this is what everyone told me when I was going through this. I was depressed. My girlfriend broke up with me, cheated on me. I hated work. Everyone kept saying, "You're gonna laugh about this. You're gonna it's a ano ba yan? Pagtatawanan mo na lang to in the future. You're going to you know, you're gonna get through this." And ako during that time, sobra akong like hindi, imposible. Pero it's true. Um so that's why, but the thing is, it really will be a process. So that's why you should set small and manageable goals so that every day meron kang small victories. You celebrate that small victory even in that moment. Kunwari sabihin mo, gagawin ko yung to-do list ko today. Kunwari 3 items. Yay, nagawa mo. Even in that moment of accomplishment, you won't be fully satisfied. You won't feel like, oh my God, I'm healed. Yay. That's not what's gonna happen. But in the long run, it's those moments that will allow a better and stronger version of yourself. Number two, identify triggers. I think especially during severe cases like this and what you went through, you really need to identify the triggers. So when we lost Luna, I I was going back and forth from ICU to ICU. So Pancho was in the ICU, Saab was in the ICU. And I would every time I'd go to see Saab in the ICU, I would turn off the TV. I would turn off the TV as long as I'm not there. Ayokong may TV kasi I don't want na something to trigger her. That's why I stayed off social media. That's why, as in seriously, like, and the hard part was like when I'd go into the ICU, for Pancho, I'd see other babies, and that was a trigger. And that's the thing is I couldn't avoid it. But the most important thing was I knew what the triggers were, and I had to tell myself, okay, hindi ka pa ready para dito. Jim. Di ka pa ready. Um, so, nakakatawa nga eh. So, parang when I would go to Sab, dun sa ICU bed niya and, we would start flipping channels. Grabe, if may makita lang akong something na I thought would be triggering, I'd change it immediately. And then when I talked to her about it, like a year after or months after, let's take a break. Hay nako, kailangan ko ng bagong face mask.
Jim, wala akong masabi.
Ha?
Isaw?
Ha?
Pahingi ng pahinga. Look, I need space.
New face masks on linyalinya.ph. Use the promo code Jim and Sab to get a special discount.
Yay!
Now back to the show. After we talked about it, I realized when Sab told me that wasn't her trigger pala. It was me. The whole time I was like, I have to protect Sab. She cannot be hurt. She can't be sad. Nothing to make Sab sad, I realized na triggers ko pala yun. So, I'm sure, especially since our Malibag sender, her whole family is going through this. It might be a good exercise to start with yourself na parang, okay, ano ba yung triggers ko? Talagang kailangan mag-ano ka. Cold turkey talaga. And it will help. Kasi I know some people talaga who go through something like this. And I'm shocked na they alam nilang trigger. Kunwari, let's say someone's going through a breakup. And you have to go to work. And then yun pala yung nangyari sa akin when she cheated on me, or that bad breakup. I'd go to work. It was a BlackBerry pa nung time na yun. And man, I just refresh Facebook, her page. Tinitingnan ko. So I think in just to share with you guys, I think my experience when I handled the breakup, I really think, honestly, I think that was like divine intervention. One, because I met Sab after that, and two, I learned all the mistakes that I made if I go through something like this, something that's very heavy. It will cause depression and anxiety. Lahat ng mistakes na I could have possibly made, I did. I I just kept refreshing her Facebook page. So that was a mistake. That was a trigger. So nakita ko, oh my God, she's here, or she's lumabas pala siya, whatever. And it would trigger me. Another thing is the circles thing. Yung sinabi ko kanina na you create your inner circles. I didn't do that. While I had Manny, you know, um, I kept going out. And I remember nakailang times yun na pupunta ako sa club or sa bar, and I was completely out of it. As in, it was completely depressing, and um ay yun. So anyway, um yun. So identify your triggers, and lastly, don't feel ashamed. Don't feel ashamed. I know that you're afraid that it might affect your standing at work. But again, I keep going back to this na if your company can't love you back, then why love it in the first place? 'Di ba? It shouldn't be a one-way street kind of relationship. Yun nga sa linya-linya recently, actually, nakakatawa to. Alam ng employees ko na, ang style ko talaga is I'm very strict. Parang, parang I expect everyone is learning constantly. And But the thing is, when it becomes personal, I'm I always let go of everything. Um, and it's because, yun nga, I think that's what we tend to forget eh. Parang gusto mo naman na you want people working for you. You want human beings. And I think my experience at corporate life, ganun kasi siya the whole time eh. It was like me being a human being during those times was seen as a fault. Was so me having passions outside of work, me um being emotional, me you know having desires and expressing my desires was seen as bad. So I think that's something that's really that that can be improved. Pero anyway, with in your case, you know, I think um you have to remember you're valuable beyond what you do for work. And your depression doesn't have to last forever. Now the thing is, your way to healing will start with what I said. Number one, accept that this is normal. Accept that, this is normal. Number two, choose your circle, invest in them, and, give importance to them. Try your best when you're with that circle. So if it's your family, your best friend, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, whatever. Then next, ask, does your company love you back? And then once you do that, every day set small and manageable goals. Whatever it is, any sense of accomplishment in a day will lift you up. So kahit sabi mo, I'm gonna do 5 push-ups. I'm not, or whatever, I'm gonna drink 2 liters of water today, and you do it. That will help you in the long run. Number two, identify triggers, like I mentioned. And lastly, don't feel ashamed. So I hope this helped. Um, I'll be taking more malibags for this Happy Dad segment. You can just email to happydadforever at gmail.com. I hope this helped, and wishing you the best of luck. Bye.